I keep promising that one of these days I'm going to do a blog post about spiritual masturbation. And I know that sounds like, what? But seriously, I can't tell you, in my own journey of studying with different teachers and learning different philosophies and wisdom traditions and whatnot, what I've seen over and over that makes me so sad is how often people cling to that, or they cling to, it's like spiritual greed. There's a longing for more and more information, more and more secret information. And what I am about, and some of you, that may be your thing. You may want that. I confess that was me too. I wanted more information. I wanted to learn more about all the things I didn't know and didn't understand. But there came a point for me where I said, how is any of this practical if all I'm doing is studying and learning and continuing to gather information and like, oh, wow, that's an interesting perspective on that, or that's what that really means, or that's what that passage in the Upanishads really is about, or the Bible is really about, and this is what the story really represents. And you can feel that false sense of power that we talk about in the balance, where you feel like you're in the know, okay? And a false sense of powerlessness when you feel like you're not, like the fear of missing out that so many of us have in today's world with so much information going on. And this idea that I got to keep studying because then I need to keep knowing, right? I am a firm believer that if we don't stop and take what we've been learning and integrate it and digest it within ourselves and make it practical, there is nothing. This is what rebirthing is all about. The sacred nights are all about the new sacred birth, the birth of the child of light within ourselves, within the world. And that spirit seed of our being is planted within us. And if we don't take that back into the world and give something of it, this newfound learning, this newfound wisdom that hopefully has been growing within us throughout the year, then it really means nothing. I teach in my Solace program the 4 stages of the soul's journey, which is about remembering who we are, reconnecting to what matters, re-envisioning what's possible, and rebirthing from those new learnings. And rebirthing is all about carrying the message forward, carrying the wisdom forward, bringing forth the elixir, as the hero or heroine's journey talks about. Bringing it back for everyone to benefit from. And so when we just keep wanting to learn or stay in a more esoteric space to keep learning that and not dive in deeper, we're not really opening ourselves to growth. And for me, these holy nights, the reason I do the journal the way that I do, and the reason it makes a lot of people uncomfortable, is because it's meant to challenge your connection to your soul. I believe so many of us are soul sick. We've lost connection to a lot of these things that are so deeply important to us. We put aside our creativity. We put aside connection to what we really care about and what we really want. We're afraid to say what we want. I'm guilty of this too. I continue to hone in on what do I really want versus what I believed I should want for much of my life, okay? So that is, I just want to touch on that because this idea of going into the esoteric and focusing on the spirit, it's lovely, and I'm not saying there's not a place for that. But I believe we need to ground it. We need to ground it in humility, in this idea of being everything we are on this earth, in our earthly existence, tapping into our gifts, our creative inspirations, intuitions, and imaginations, and bringing something forth in our unique, very special, needed way. And really being on this earth and becoming the gem that we're meant to be, to shine forth our gifts, and being nothing we're not, which means we're not trying to pretend to be perfect or show ourselves as enough or worthy, or we're not trying to save face to make sure that we are never criticized or never made wrong, and we're just showing up. And I tell you, when you show up as you will get criticized. You will be judged. And if you're not being criticized and judged, you might want to ask yourself, am I always being authentically me? Am I willing to speak up for what I believe in and what I feel? What you believe in and what is your truth and what you feel may very well be different. In fact, it will be different than what someone else believes in and feels is true. But that doesn't make you wrong. It just makes things different. And if someone tries to tell you that you're wrong about the way you've done something, then, you can say, well, thank you. I hear your thoughts. I've done my research over here, and this is what I've chosen to believe, and I honor what you believe, and I'm going to stay true to me. Or maybe you also say, oh, wow, thank you for that perspective. I never thought of it that way. Let me integrate that. Let me see if that sits right with me. If I resonate with that, I might want to shift. And this is where that openness comes in, the willingness to be open to new perspectives.